everybody, welcome back to the Retro Ghetto. We are kicking off with a bang. We are here at the Black Country Game Fair and there's already a right little scene gathering in the car park. Got the main man Jim.
Hello.
Big man Connor. James.
Where's the Kev wave?
Hello.
I don't need to introduce you. You're like the star of the show anyway. Yeah, nice atmosphere. We're all about half an hour early or so. Everyone's eulogising to Kev about how much they love his Sega mouse. So I feel very much like I'm not part of this group. But yeah, should be opening in about half an hour. We'll be heading in. I've already had a nice pickup courtesy of my friend Connor. So yeah, whatever happens, I'm going home with something nice. So let's see what else we find. So James is already picking up the heavy hitters. Nice. And this is mint, right?
Yeah, absolutely mint.
Before you've even got in?
Yes.
I feel like
made the deal yesterday.
I feel like the rest of the event's going to be anticlimactic for you. Knowing you though, James, to be honest, this is the tip of the iceberg of what you're going to come home with. Nicely done, sir.
Thank you very much.
Part of it.
I need this.
That's Dylan. That's Dylan's.
Is this Dylan's? Yeah. Dylan, how much for this 20 quid game?
So just hold on.
Don't buy them, they're horrible. Horrible. Magic Eye, what can you see? So this young lady was just telling me how the channel's alright, but she's here for Kev. Kev's, what did you say about Kev? He's more what?
He's the best one.
More impressive, I think was the term you said.
Very impressive.
Best double accents, cannon and ball. Don't turn away. Best of all time.
And everybody just, Kev's the hero, isn't he?
Kev, you've just put a spark up there.
Yeah, it's Charisma Kev, isn't it?
You know what he's talking about? Yeah.
Kev didn't know he was going to be the star, but yeah. No, I'm glad you watched it. Thanks for watching, man.
That's for the baby.
Oh, that's very kind of you, mate.
Right.
Being me.
That's for little RG.
Yeah.
5 characters in there.
What's that for?
Because I want to, because you make good content, because we love you.
Oh, yeah, I really appreciate that, man. Very kind of you.
Doing what you have to do.
That's very kind of you,
You make
mate.
my Sundays, you make me Wednesdays. I sit there with the bacon sandwich on a Sunday, watching you.
I'm gonna switch the camera off now because I got a lump in my throat. Okay, so the event is done. We're just gonna catch up with Connor. He's got a big bag full of stuff.
Just a few bits.
Show us what you got, Connor.
A lot of it's like lower hitters, like childhood games, but we picked up
Yeah.
Crash 3, no manual, but I've got that. Rascal.
I've never even heard of that.
You're in like a haunted house kind of situation, like a first-person shoot kind of thing with
okay.
puzzles and stuff. It's not a bad game, only £4.
It's not really nice condition as well. Yeah.
Scooby-Doo Cyber Chase, crap game, but childhood game. Can't go wrong. Again, I think it's manual only, no cover. I've got the cover
Yeah,
anyway, why not? Picked up a lot of PS3, some big hitters in here.
Oh, nice,
Shattered Dimension,
Yeah.
last one for the Spider-Man set. 65.
Is that more on the 360 now, or?
I think they're all more on the 360.
It's so funny how that's come around, hasn't it?
Which is
Like
bizarre.
nobody wanted them, and now that's game collecting 101, isn't it?
Yeah, good price on that, 65. Final Fantasy Lightning Returns.
Yeah.
18.
Yeah.
Again, not bad. Then just basically shovelware.
Yeah.
I think I'm going for like the movie tie-in set like Kingsley was doing.
Yeah.
A lot of them are really good games, to be fair. Like Surf's Up, not bad. G-Force, these are all like 3-4 quick games. Brave,
Yeah.
good games, like a twin-stick shooter.
Yeah, it's a good game, that is. Yeah.
Brutal Legend,
Yeah.
great game as well. Heavenly Sword.
That's a good one as well. I love hack and slash, so like, yeah.
A couple of PS4 bits. I've got Batman. Lego. Can't have too many Lego.
Jim's
Batman.
thinking I found that in 37 charity shops last week. And you, Jim? How many Batman 3s have you found in chat?
One or two.
Yeah.
Lego
Yeah.
Jurassic. Again, these were like cheap. You did like 3.
Yeah.
Bit more PS2. Crash the Titans, good game. Fantastic game.
Yeah.
I can't justify that collector's edition.
I knew someone was going to
I
mention
would if I
that.
could.
That
I would
sleeve's
if I
special
could.
though, isn't it? It's a nice sleeve, that is.
It's mint.
Hey, see you later, mate. All the best, mate.
It's
And you, mate.
Properly mint. CIB.
Yeah. Have you got the sleeve cover for? I have. Yeah, nice. Did you buy it before? It's got like £200 now.
I think I got it for about 15 quid from set.
Some things it's hard to justify the price, but that is beautiful. I'm not saying it's worth that money. I mean, what is? But it's very nice.
We were discussing the comic.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Haunted Mansion, again, this is actually a really good game.
That's
My
that movie, yeah.
childhood. It is, yeah.
Never seen it.
And then the last big hitter, a great one.
Yeah, we saw
Ruby
this in there,
Sapphire
yeah.
Pinball. Again, it's not in CEX, offering a CIB. 125 from Vintage Gamer.
Yeah.
Can't complain. It's a lot less.
Always
than
good
what
prices at
CEX
Vintage
was.
Gamer.
And it's near mint, to be fair. It's like a little damage on the edge.
Yeah,
but
sound.
What can you do? It's Nintendo cardboard at the end of the day.
Perfect.
But
Nice one, man.
overall,
Appreciate it.
with that, yeah.
I won't ask you, Jim, because you've got your own channel. I'll put a link in Jim's channel below, and you can go and see what Jim picked up on his channel. But nice one, guys. Okay, that is the Black Country Game Fair done. I'm now headed with Connor, Jim, and Kev to the local CEX. There's a market on as well. It's always good to see them. I'll have to dig through some of these records shortly. Games, hang on. You find games, sometimes games find you. How are you, mate?
Hello, my friend.
Does anybody need a sleeve cover?
I can get this for Kev.
Straight me in with a good one. Secret rings. Where's your secret ring, Kev? Anything catching your eye in here? I don't think I've got that actually. How much are your games, mate?
In there, £2.
£2 each. All happening, isn't it? It's all happening.
18 in CEX, go and check it.
Is it? 10 quid then for me.
Go on then.
Ah, what a legend. Do you want to be on the video?
Do it.
Taxman's watching, he's thinking.
I got a full-time job. Go on then.
Legend. What, Bilston Market is the place to be, look. Final Fantasy online cupboard, not just Final
He
Fantasy,
did it.
online.
So, do you know what I mean? Look, outside.
And Aladdin, 7 quid. This is the market to be at, this isn't it? His natural habitat at the counter. What you found? What are you showing me? Oh my god.
There we go.
Oh, Jesus. I mean, I would have.
I love the film, but
So we are back in Kev's car. I really enjoyed that. Just for the hangs as much as anything else. Some real good people, weren't there?
Yeah, we spent more time talking than we did
Yeah,
buying.
yeah, it was really good.
Not what I do. I prefer it the other way round.
I love it. It was one of them events where we got so much like positive reception, so many selfies taken and like well wishes passed on, and genuinely always means a lot. But I know that Kev, it's not really Kev's thing. So
I'm not a YouTuber. I don't like people.
So, so as a result, I just always sort of like steer it towards Kev. I remember watching this thing about Ricky Gervais. He says that Carl Pilkington is his gift to the world, like an unbewitting superstar. That's my Kev. You're my Carl Pilkington. Kev. That's a good compliment. I love Carl Pilkington.
Yeah, it's good bloke.
But yeah, really enjoyed it. The event did get very busy, so I was happy to head out when I did. But shout out to Dana for what he's done and what he's achieved and how these events keep growing. Massive shout out to him. But yeah, so many good people, man. A lot of people from the Ghetto Gang Discord that we got to meet in person, and yeah, really good. But let's take a look at Kev's pickups anyway.
Okay, so on the 360, limited edition Halo 4.
Not bad, 15 quid, is it?
Oh yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
On the
Nice.
360 wall.
We've got space for it on that wall.
Yeah, got loads of room. Mega Drive.
Oh, classic.
Shaq Fu.
Yeah. Widely regarded as the greatest game of all time.
I don't think that's going to be the case. And I'm assuming you're lying.
Yeah, it's widely regarded as being dreadful, but it's generally not as bad as people make it out to be fair.
Callum's
Oh,
favourites.
don't,
Look
man.
how beautiful they look.
God. If people are turning off now, I understand.
They're beautiful.
They're ugly, man.
Yeah.
So ugly.
No, I like them. Look like crunchy. PS Vita.
No, I don't know much about this one. What's it called?
Devious Dungeons, limited edition. Sealed.
Nice bit of cardboard.
Yeah.
Right. Go on.
More cardboard.
The door's open.
Vita. Sealed again.
Yep.
And another one.
Oh, I don't know. What's so much cardboard on the Vita?
Yeah.
Do you only
I
buy
think-
cardboard?
I
Do you
think-
buy games that should have cardboard but don't have cardboard?
I
or-
buy both.
What's going on here? What's all this?
That's what it does.
Oh, it's a bit fancy, isn't it? Can you play games on here?
You can.
Can you?
Yeah.
That's a nice safety feature.
But not while the cards. Well, I think you can.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so PS Vita, another one sealed. I think a lot of the Vita games, they did a special edition as well as the normal version.
Yeah.
So a lot.
So you might be upgrading a few then.
Or duplicating.
What else we got?
Jaguar.
This was when we first walked in.
Yeah, this was off Dana's
Yeah.
stall. So I am pushing for the Jag and the 32X at the minute. But Double
Can't be that
Dragon.
many more Jaguar games. Surely you've got a sizable
I
collection.
think I've
there,
got
though.
about half.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I imagine that's one of the better games on the
I would
Jaguar.
have thought so. I mean, who doesn't like Double Dragon? Wicked game.
This looks terrible. Why are you not showing that one?
Oh no, that.
It looks terrible.
I had that cartoon.
What I think about Jaguar box art is it just looks like it's been done on clip art.
This was kind of released with the Jag in a lot of cases. So that you had the cart with the Jag.
Yeah. So this is what showed off what it could do.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
I think I played it back in the day, but I don't think it's a very good game.
It's a surprise for the Jag.
But I needed it anyway, so yeah. Happy days.
Yep.
PS4, Caveman Warriors.
Nice. Bit of cardboard.
Sealed again.
Who did you get that from?
The guys that I got the Vita games from. I don't know the names because I'm old and I can't remember names.
Don't know.
But yeah, PS4.
Yep.
And that was it from there.
And then
And then we went to CEX. In where?
Bilston. Bilson or Bilston? I don't know.
Yeah,
Somewhere.
if the staff are watching or the manager is watching from CX Bilston, yeah,
It wasn't very good, was it?
it was.
And it was pretty unanimous. We expected the CX to get rinsed because there's a local game fair, but everybody kind of walked out saying it was not.
Don't
the
give
best
the staff a
CX.
Christmas bonus. They don't deserve it. But we did find a minty copy of
It is minty as well.
Sensible Soccer.
Really nice.
Limited edition World Cup teams.
With who on the front?
Hullet.
What's his first name?
Rude.
Yes, Kev!
I only know that because of Newcastle.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it weren't for the hologram, I wouldn't say that was a legit copy. But
yeah, I don't think anyone's faking.
No, you'd be surprised.
Really?
Some of them are quite expensive.
Yeah, we reckon that's a vintage gamer price sticker. I know they're stickers. It's funny that it's ended up round the corner in the CEX.
I don't know how you'd get to that, but okay, I'll take the word for it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, man. All right, thanks,
All
Kev.
good. Bye.
Peace. I was Carl and seeing this. My Ray-Bans that I must have dropped here about 5 hours ago. I was lucky. Oh, goodbye. Back in the 3.0, welcome officially to this week's Ghetto vlog. Now, I'm going to go through everything that I picked up at the Black Country Game Fair. I'm going to do it relatively quickly because you've probably noticed there's quite a large pickup that we showed off on Wednesday that I'm desperate to get into this room. I've got a few ideas as to how we're going to rearrange the room to incorporate Kratos. Like I always say, I don't want anything to be a detriment of the room, so I've got some real work to do to incorporate him and make the room look better than ever. So yeah, we're going to get to that once I go through all this. It's a bit of a weird pose, him stood behind me on a black leather sofa. If you know, you know. Moving on. Right, okay, so first pickup, you guys have seen this one, I think, on the video footage already, and that is Shadow of the Beast. Originally a 1989 Amiga game, this was ported to the Mega Drive in 1990. It's an action side-scroller, and what I didn't know about this is it actually got a re-release in 2016. I think it was a remake rather than a remaster, I'm not entirely sure, on the PlayStation 4. It didn't get a physical version in Power Territories. I think there is a physical somewhere. I had a quick look and it's going for a large sum of money, but I think that's like somewhere in Asia. But yeah, Shadow of the Beast. Very strange. It was very surreal walking around that market and seeing like video games, because you just never see that, right? Retro games at that. So yeah, I was really happy to pick this. I grabbed it. I think you've seen on the footage. You gave me a good deal. You actually randomly watched the channel, which again is very surreal. Being on like some small market in the back end of nowhere and some guy recognising me. So yeah, brilliant. But he did me a good deal. Give me this for £10, and there was a slight doubt in my mind that I already had this. It rung a bell, but it couldn't have worked out better because I have Shadow of the Beast too. So I've now got them both. It's another yellow spine. I'm not sort of actively pursuing the EA yellow spine set. I think they look a bit ugly if I'm being honest, but I am going for pretty much every Mega Drive game I can get my hands on for a good price. So I guess technically I am, right? But yeah, really happy to have added that, and in good circumstances as well. It was just such a good day all around, right? And heading to the market and CEX with Kev, Connor, and Jim. Shout out Jim Corbano. It was just great to finally get to chat to these people, spend some real time getting to know people that you get to know either via Discords or you just have broken conversations with here and there. So yeah, really good day from that part of things. But we'll get into the event a little bit more in a minute. I got two pickups before we went in. One of which was by far my best pickup of the day, so we'll get to that last. But I've got to give a massive shout out to James, just an all-around legend. I told you guys before we started that Ghetto Busters, which is like Blockbusters. We did it with Astrobot. I played it, completed it, moved it on. Well, James has played through this and he's now passed it on. Just such a top guy. And that is the Silent Hill 2 remake. I am one of the only people, I think, that collects video games that hasn't played through Silent Hill 2. Never been the biggest horror or survival horror guy. So yeah, there's probably quite a lot of games that most people would have expected me to play through that I haven't in this genre. And this is definitely one of them. So I think, you know, it got to that point where I was thinking, well, I've got to play through it one day. So then when I heard the remake was coming, I thought, well, this has got to be the best way to experience it at this point, right? So this is probably something I'm going to jump into tonight. It's actually Halloween, right? So when no better time than to do it tonight. I'm still playing through Warriors of Troy or whatever it's called, something to that effect. Really enjoying that. I'm definitely going to finish that, but there's been a real sort of difficulty curve. I was playing it last night. I think it was the statue of Apollo. That was quite difficult. Now I'm fighting some like huge brutish character in some like boss fight scenario, which I keep losing on, so I'm going to be jumping back into that at some point. But yeah, I think tonight we're going to be starting Silent Hill 2. And yeah, like I say, perfect time to do so. So once again, massive shout out to James. And so then we get to the pickups themselves. I didn't buy much. But I've got to say, like, shout out once again to Dana, who puts these events on. It keeps growing and growing. The venue itself was bigger than I've seen at Black Country before, but very dark. I think it was more like a sort of like a club It's probably more accustomed to live bands and music and that kind of thing. I'm not too bothered about it being dark in there, just for the purposes of filming, which obviously that's not the event organisers' concern. They're not bothered about people filming, right, when they're planning these things. But from a filming point of view, it wasn't the easiest, and it did get quite busy quite quickly. And I was one of the first in, but I've got to say, like, the amount of people I spoke to that watched the channel and had positive things to say, it was genuinely humbling, man. Like, really humbling. It was like so many people I had so many good conversations with, people that really enjoyed the channel and gave me that feedback. And listen, I go up and down the country and all around, hunting, shopping, going to different venues, markets, and I've got to say, even though I'm an East Midlands kid born and raised, there's always something about the West Midlands, man. I always think it's just such a friendly bunch, and I always seem to get more people there that want to talk to me and express their gratitude for the videos and probably anywhere else in the country. So massive shout out to all the West Midlanders, and massive shout out to everybody that I had conversation with on the day. Really, really good event from that point of view. Really good event. Just a real like sort of wholesome feeling, and I really enjoyed my time. I had a really good day out. But yeah, at the first lap, so getting back to my original point, as a result of all that, it was very difficult for me to get around. I think me and Kev managed like 1 and a bit laps. The whole time we were there, the few hours there, we went round once, and then we got a little bit into a second lap, and then we sort of called it a day. But like I say, I'd rather speak to people and have those conversations with people, and maybe miss out on a couple of games. I mean, it's not it's not like I'm short of games, right? And my backlog was big enough anyway. But I was determined to pick up a couple of things, and on that last bit of a lap, I did find a couple of bits. But before that, I should probably highlight the fact that I was gifted those t-shirts. So one of the fine West Midlanders that I was speaking about, you've seen him on the video footage, what a great guy. He had loads of these like used video game t-shirts. He said he'd been picking them up from car boots, charity shops, all over the place. And had it been a different venue, different time, with more sort of like time and space to go through it all, I probably could have bought 4 or 5, but he wouldn't even let me pay for them. But I grabbed a couple of really nice t-shirts. So massive shout out to you once again, mate. Just a couple of Street Fighter t-shirts, which you'll probably see me adorn on a future video. Gifted me some stuff for the kids as well, and that really means a lot. So yeah, I want to give you a specific massive thank you, mate. Very kind of you. But yeah, in terms of my actual pickups, first one was from Vintage Gamer, and that was, let me get the spelling correct, Tatsunoko versus Capcom on the Wii. So this is a 2008 crossover fighter with lots of the Capcom characters which you know from various fighters, but also it contains characters from the Tatsunoko world. I didn't know much about Tatsunoko, but I think they produce a series of anime franchises, and then they've taken said characters from those franchises. I think predominantly this game is a 2 versus 2 fighter, or you can choose one giant character, I believe. I've never played it. I think it was praised as well for its simplicity. It's got a simplified 3-button fight system. So it said it was accessible for newcomers, but also there's a lot here for people which enjoy the franchise. I think it did have quite a big arcade scene in Japan, actually, this one. I think the criticism of it was that it wasn't great online, which, I mean, it's a Wii game, you know what I mean? So what would you expect? But widely speaking, one that you would probably expect me to already own, being a big fan of Capcom and a big fan of fighters. The reason I don't is that for a few years I was hunting the big box, so you can get this in a big collector's edition with like an arcade fight stick, and then eventually I've come around to thinking that I don't have room for it. I wouldn't be able to house it in here. So yeah, at this point, I'm more than happy to just pick this one up. It says on the side 22. Nick did me a fantastic price. I think I got this for £15. So yeah, great time to pick it up, and yeah, excited to give that one a go. And in a similar vein, talking to someone doing me a great deal, got to give a shout out to Eddie Rollercore. Eddie, as usual, was with his partner in crime, Dylan, Hyper Trigger X. And I'd already been speaking to Eddie and Dylan quite a bit on my first lap, but somehow I didn't notice this game. This was a game I've been actively pursuing. I saw this and earmarked that I wanted to grab it when I went to Skegness. I went to the CX there and they had it, but it was no manual, and it's quite an expensive game at CX. I think it's like 25-30 quid from memory. This was priced at 20. Again, Eddie did me a fantastic price. Again, it was 15. And that is Konami's Police 24/7. Known as Police 9/11 in Japan, this 2002 light gun shooter started life as an arcade series, but it then eventually found its way onto the PlayStation 2. I'm hoping you can play this with a controller and you don't need a light gun to be able to do it. I don't think a light gun would work on the PS2 TV, and I don't think they work on Bang & Olufsen either, something to do with the refresh rate. So hopefully this can be played with just a standard controller. But yeah, there's something about this box art. I mean, if only the game was in that art style. I just think it's such beautiful box art. I think it's one of the finest PS2 covers out there. I really do. Something about it. I just love it. But yeah, like I say, one that I've been hunting for a little bit of time now. And what's interesting about this game is the mechanic of it and how you can sort of quote unquote die. So if you shoot a fellow officer or a civilian by mistake, you just sort of lose a rank. So you can go. So I think you start each level as like a commissioner, and then you lose a rank each time, and you can get yourself right down to being just a lowly officer. So yeah, interesting. One that I do hope I can play with a controller. But yeah, like I say, just one I've been after for a while, so I was very happy to see it on a friend of mine's store. So yeah, that's everything that I picked up inside Black Country Game Fair. And then we go on to what was by far my favourite pickup of the day. So you saw Connor. So Connor is someone that I've had a lot of communication with over recent months. He is the chief admin on the Ghetto Gang Discord, who does wonderful work on there because I'm an old man and I'm not very good at technology. So anytime we need things amending and adapting, Connor's been an absolute godsend with all that stuff. And he recently found himself in France. I think it was Lille actually. Connor travels quite a lot playing the Pokemon card game, and he found himself there in what looked like a really good retro video game shop. Now, to my knowledge, prices of retro in places like France are very expensive. And at first I was surprised at the price of this one. It was so cheap. Compared to what I could see on eBay and compared to what I could see on the sold listings, this was really cheap. And then I found out why, because this was a French exclusive. So this could not have worked out better for me. Super Nintendo, so it's part of the full set. I've never seen this game before, and with it being a French exclusive, that would explain why. But that is Super Danny. So this is a 1994 puzzle platformer, and it sees Danny and 3 of his friends get warped into a TV world, and as they do so, they become superheroes in the process. As you'll be seeing now, it doesn't look like the best game on the system by any means. But what I would say about this is it's in absolutely fantastic condition. Like, too good for me, right? This is right up there as like one of my best conditioned Super Nintendo games. No real marks on the corners or anything. Yeah, just really nice example of Nintendo cardboard. Strangely, the shop that sells retro games didn't have any of these box protectors, so shout out to Connor. I think he got some makeshift cardboard and made a protector for me to get this back in one piece. And absolute legend. Like I say, with it being a French exclusive, for him to find it for me in France, there's no better way I could have got this game, because you never see it, and any that you do see on eBay are well over £100. So absolutely delighted to be adding what is definitely an uncommon game to my full Super Nintendo PAL set. And yeah, like I say, that just sort of like surmises really the day, because it was definitely a day that was all about hanging with like-minded individuals, and yeah, and for those reasons it was a fantastic day. So absolutely loved it. But it is now time to do what I want to do. It's been a few days since I picked up Kratos, so my mind's been racing every day, thinking, what am I going to do? How am I going to make a space for him in this room? And now I can finally start putting some ideas into motion, so let's get into it. But before we tackle this rather large issue, I should really get this sorted out. So this is where I abruptly left you guys on last week's vlog. Yeah, let's get the Xbox 360 area revamped. Right, so over 20 minutes to add, what, 6 or 7 360 games later, and I've come to the conclusion of 2 things. 1, my Xbox 360 collecting is done. I mean, it's going to be 1 in 1 out from this point on, right? There's no room left at the inn. Everything that can benefit from no longer being forward facing, like a lot of the stuff down here is no longer forward facing. The stuff that is because it's like pretty much a square anyway, so it makes no difference if it's side facing or forward facing. You know, sadly, things like Fear, that don't look actually too bad from the side, to be fair. That's the way that that's set up. I love that as a collector's edition because it actually looks like it's meant to be displayed that way and from the front, so that's pretty cool. Mortal Kombat's obviously a waist down there like that. I could never not display the Saints Row 2. For me, that has to be displayed in that way. Castlevania, Lords of Shadow, that's the Casualty, that's now on its side. And Bioshock, again, is quite a square one, so it makes no difference. I've got to say, though, Goku Edition, how good does that look? I'm so glad that we unsealed it, and it just fits perfectly in that gap. So that and Darksiders 2, they have to stay there. They're both just like the perfect size to be in that situation. And that takes me to the second realization from doing this, and that is the 360 area has never looked better. I've got to say, it looks fantastic. Whilst, yeah, we've sacrificed a few things in terms of how they're sitting, it's full, but it looks great. So, yeah, step one accomplished in terms of what we want to achieve on this vlog, getting the whole room looking better than ever. So with that done, we can now turn our attention to this. Good morning, it's the following day, and yeah, last night I decided to call it quite early because I wanted to enjoy Halloween with the kids, and by enjoying Halloween with the kids I mean eating their trick-or-treat sweets whilst playing Silent Hill. But what that does mean is that we've now got the whole day ahead of us with nothing but one goal in mind: get this guy housed, get the room looking better than ever. There is one idea that is probably my least favourite idea, but I still think it's worth exploring. So that's what we're going to check out first. We're going to look into this corner here. We're going to move all of this stuff out of the way. What putting it there would mean is that it would only be half of Kratos. So we'd have to split him at the waist and put the top half of him in, which is why it's not my favourite idea. Ideally, I want to have the full statue, but it's just something I want to explore. So let's take a look. Okay, so idea number one isn't going to work. I thought it'd sit nicely. I underestimated the fact that both the arms and the back of the figure sit lower than the front torso, so obviously it just looks weird with him floating. Also, by the time you get the axe in, it'll be encroaching into the doorway, which the gym area, so I can't have that. So yeah, you can get a sort of idea as what I was going for, but I didn't expect that to work, but at least we can cross it off the list. Back to the drawing board. Okay, and with that area back to how it should be, it's time to explore what was going to be my second option. Now, what I was thinking was get him in here. Obviously, it comes at the detriment of quite a lot of things. I was going to basically remove this and hopefully stack the CD player down into that corner somewhere. Remove this whole unit entirely. Worry about vinyl records somewhere else. And basically have Kratos' back foot in that corner, leaning out. Now the issues there are quite plentiful. It would hide some of my favourite art pieces that I've got in the room, some of these original standees. And also it would cover some of the Mega Drive, and more worryingly, it would maybe encroach on the television, which obviously we can't have that. So that was really going to be an option I was going to explore today. I was going to set it all up and just see. But like all good ideas, one came out of nowhere, which I think is what we're going to try, because I think, and I'm hoping, this is going to be the right idea. So, as you can see, ignore all of this stuff. I've got a lot of parcels that I need to open. A lot. Hopefully we're going to get time to get into some of these on this week's vlog. But I've been playing Warriors of Troy, as you guys know. But I've been using a wired controller, and to recline, you couldn't leave that in the Kallax unit, so I pulled it all forwards. And it still wasn't quite right. There was a little bit too much tension on the wire. So what I did was, I moved the sofa forward. I moved it to sort of like halfway where the radiator is. And then I sort of had this epiphany, well, hang on. Once I moved the sofa forward, I realised that there was a lot more space in this area here. And then my mind started to whir, and a chain of sequence of events later, I started to think it was an option that we could start looking into. So I'm going to move the sofa again, and then I'll show you what space we're working with. Okay, so the sofa's now been moved. As you can see, we're sort of halfway-ish into the radiator area. We're going to get to the knock-on effects of here in a moment. But as you can see, it's opened up a lot of space. Now this wiring and everything all needed sorting out anyway. That was on my list of to-do, just to generally clean it up a bit. Maybe get a few more a few more plug sockets. A bigger extension, I think is what I'm trying to say. Clean all this area up. And it does create quite a nice void of space here. And again, if we can get Kratos' back foot tucked into that corner, he can then sort of be coming this way. You couldn't recline this chair anyway because of where it was. This is just the guest chair, the visitor's chair, kid's chair, whatever. It doesn't need to recline. As long as this one can, that's all good. So I definitely think there's an option that we can explore there. I think potentially having Kratos here would look really good. He'd also be kind of facing Master Chief. So it'd be like a nice way of having them engaging with each other, but not too close that it would look weird having two together. I think they'd be spaced out enough in the room. So I think, as it stands, that's the best option. If this doesn't work, I really don't know. But in terms of the knock-on effects to this area, not that many negatives. I like being close to the telly, so being a few inches close to the telly is not an issue for me. The issue comes in the close proximity to the SNES table. Now, even for guests, this is getting a bit too tight here. But more concerning issue for myself is that when you fully recline this, it now touches the SNES table. So what I'm going to try and do is shuffle this down a few inches so that this part here will touch that roughly there, right? So move that down a bit. The CD player can be pushed to one side, so that will still be accessible. So all that will happen is that will get pushed down, and then subsequently push the telly down 2 or 3 inches, push the SNES table back 2 or 3 inches, creates more legroom here, allows me to recline, doesn't really have an impact on this general living area, which is the most important area. This is where you sit, this is where you want to be comfortable, this is where you want a good view of the TV. So yeah, if anything, I probably wouldn't mind being a bit closer, right? And my eyes aren't getting any better, I'm not getting any younger. So, yeah, I'm not sure where to start. Probably just try and clean this area up and have a test of getting Kratos in. Right, so the area's been loosely cleared. I say loosely because obviously there's a lot of work to do with this lot, but I'm not going to do that until I know that it works. So we're going to put Kratos' legs in here, and then we should get an idea as to whether this is going to be his forever home or not. Okay, so I've got Kratos' legs in place. I tried it quickly with the torso on. I think it looks great. I don't know how I've managed to make this work, because I was doubting whether I was going to be able to make it work. I thought I was going to have to get rid of something that I love in order to get Kratos in, but I genuinely think it's going to look better than ever. I'll let you guys be the judge, but before we do that and the unveiling and everything, I want to get everything else sorted out. So like I say, all of this area's got to go down a bit. We've got to push it at least, I'd say, 3 or 4 inches. That's another soundbite that can be taken out of context. Right, let's crack on. So first job, like I said before, is to move this whole unit down a bit. So yeah, probably a lot more work than you'd think. And would you look at that? So yeah, you can see how much space I've been able to create. And I genuinely think it looks better. This is the thing, right? Sometimes you assume that making more space and making changes is going to be at the detriment. But if anything, it just looks a lot slicker, a lot cleaner. There's no sort of like empty space that there was before, like a void. It's not stopped me doing anything. The only casualty is my Biggie figure, which is down there, hidden away, but that's a minor that we can figure out another day. But yeah, man. And as you can see, I've now got that gap in which I can push everything else back down. Theoretically, this could even go a little bit further, but I don't want to cover the sort of CD player, and the vinyl records are sort of perfectly on display now. There's a little bit of space for growth of vinyl. I don't really have that many. So yeah, really, really enthused by how it's all coming together. You gotta love it when a plan comes together, ain't you? It needs a bit of a polish and stuff, but yeah, let's do the test then. Make sure, well, firstly, there's definitely enough space here. for guests. Here's the crucial test. Yeah, buddy! I can fully recline. I'm in a great position to the TV. Great position to that TV. Ah, yeah, man. There's literally no casualties right now. I'm lying. There's one casualty. Because this previously was against this wall, this, what, good inch or so, 2 inches, means that this gap's now smaller. It doesn't affect me. I can actually walk down without shimmying sideways. So it's not a huge issue. And I can easily enough move the radiator right to that corner if I wanted to. It's only on like a bracket, so that's easily done, but for now it's fine. Okay, so before I clean this whole room and do like a grand unveil of Kratos and how everything's come together, there are a couple of pickups that I want to get into. We're going to get into more next week. These are just a couple that I wanted to show right now, one of which is going to be instrumental in the changes that we've made. So yeah, let's just get into it. So the first one I actually got from RG Jr. This was something that we bought for him last Christmas. And I found it at the bottom of his toy drawer. And I said to him, you're not using this, you've never played with it. And we agreed a swap deal. He ended up doing very well out of the deal. He got some big Kratos statue that I've had in the loft for a while, plus cash, plus Lego. So yeah, he's done pretty well. But yeah, somehow this is one I didn't have. And that is Ken from the Sota lines, the standard Player 1 outfit. Luckily I had enough foresight to keep the second head sculpt this came with and the Shoryuken effect that goes on his fist. Because as you can see, this head's all scratched up and battered from where he's been knocking 7 bells out of him with his Ryu figure. He plays with a Ryu, he doesn't really touch Ken, we know where his allegiances lie. And like I say, this Player 1 is just one that I've never had, so I kind of had my eye on this for a while, and it's now found its way into my collection, so that'll be getting added to the Street Fighter shelf, so shout out to RG Jr. for that one. And this next one is arguably the rarest game in my collection, again. So this has come from South Africa, which will probably tell you what it is. There is a note. Hi mate, so happy we can upgrade the condition. Cheers for all the awesome content, Tate. Now Tate is an absolute legend. Tate has been helping me out finding these in South Africa. So if you followed my PlayStation 3 Essentials journey, you'll know that by far the hardest one to find was FIFA 17. For some reason that game only ever got released in South Africa, and from what we know it was a very short run in South Africa as well. Tate's only ever found 2 of these. Now the one he sent me to complete my set was not in the best condition, so he's still been out on the hunt and he's found one which still isn't in great condition, but better than the one I had. And more importantly, to be honest, whilst I will be upgrading this, I want to be able to pass these on to the Ghetto gang members that are really avidly trying to go for the full set. There's a few that are not too far away now, and nobody else has managed to find a copy of FIFA 17. So as far as we know, there's now at least 2 in the world. I can now pass my other one on to a Ghetto gang member. So yeah, just sort of helping each other out, helping each other get to that full set milestone, and whilst getting a nice condition upgrade in the process. So once again, massive shout out to Tate. And if you're watching, mate, stay on the lookout, because we could do with a few more if you can find any more. There's a couple more people that could do with them. So yeah, absolute legend, and that's come all the way from South Africa. And that takes me to this pickup, which is, like I say, instrumental in these changes that we're making. This is something that I bought a couple of weeks ago actually. I just not got around to opening it yet. Hopefully it's okay. It took ages to arrive actually. Yeah, it looks in decent condition. This is something I've been wanting for probably a good year or so now. I've been wanting one of these. But the prices were just never quite where I wanted them to be. They've started to come down a bit in price now. And the ones that were where I wanted them to be in price, they weren't complete or missing this back bit. But anyway, yeah, it's a white switch dock. So it's the OLED dock. Now obviously I already have one of these for my OLED, but I want this to go on my SNES table. So I've currently got the old school black one. Guys, you know I'm trying to keep everything in this room fresh, light, white, clear. And yeah, it's the small details that make a big difference. When you've got a games room, all those small details add up, and just replacing that black switch dock with a nice fresh white one to just help the aesthetic of what is predominantly white room, with the colours and everything coming from all the art pieces themselves. Yeah, just a nice little upgrade. And also, this is RG Jr. have all got switches, so another switch dock in the main house is not a bad thing. So yeah, we're going to get this put into situ in here. I'm going to have a good tidy up, clean up, polish, hoover the lot. We're going to get Kratos assembled, and I think genuinely the room's going to be looking better than ever. And then next time you see me, we'll be doing like a little bit of a mini game room tour. Let's go. Okay, so with everything clean, tidied and put away, as you can see, Master Chief is still in here. There he is. I managed to get them both in. I think it looks so good. I love how Kratos has my light behind him. There's so many like great angles, which you can catch a bit of the retro Ghetto logo and Kratos' face. Yeah, we're just really happy that I've been able to get both of these life-size figures in this room, and not only not too much detriment, a very small detriment, which we'll get to in a minute, but actually loads of positives. There's more space here. There's a lot more foot space now. Kratos on the throne's not going to stay there. That's potentially going. This 18-inch neck of Kratos is going as well. We don't need that anymore now. We've got that. Lara Croft been temporarily put there, although there was some, let's call them hazards, with walking into the room. But I am working on a very big deal for a very special piece, which should hopefully be coming to the channel very soon. So keep it locked for that. But yeah, everything's been tidied up. This area looks great. I don't think I've ever mentioned the fact that the Super Nintendo sign sits perfectly there in the Bang & Olufsen TV. Yeah, it just looks fantastic. Previously, that was part of the SNES wall, of course, but since I colour coordinated it, I just think it looks better to have the games on the wall as opposed to the sign, and it sort of overlapped the LED strip as well. So yeah, I think it's much better without it, to be honest. Yeah, just loads more space. In terms of what we need to do going forwards, I'm going to replace this with a better TV or monitor and make it a little bit lower. This encroaches on that shelf, which I don't want. That's because the monitor was there before that shelf was there, which is why that's happening. Also, we're going to move the radiator down into that corner. There's plenty of space behind Kratos because of the way in which his leg stands, so the radiator can go in behind him. And what that will allow us to do is push the sofa back up against the wall, which will then subsequently open up this space a little bit, just so it's not quite as tight to walk through. But yeah, generally speaking, could not be happier. Yeah, I didn't think I was going to get them both in. To get them both in with other benefits, yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about that. But guys, that's not all the changes that we've got planned in the 3.0. Before I even knew that Kratos was available, I spoke to you guys about going to IKEA, making a few more changes, so hopefully we'll get time to do that on next week's Ghetto vlog. Speaking of next week's vlog, I'm heading out very shortly for a very special game hunt. I'm going out with a couple of Ghetto gang members, and we're going to a shop which I've been wanting to go to for a long time, which I've never been to. There's not that many shops within a local-ish area that I've never been to, so really excited about that. That will hopefully be coming on Wednesday, so that should be Wednesday's video. So if you're not already, make sure you subscribe, keep it locked to the channel. If you want to get involved with the Ghetto Gang and everything else that we've got going over on there, with the Discord and everything, there will of course be a link below. But that is going to do it for this week's Ghetto vlog. Make sure you let me know in the comments below what you think of the room changes. I'm going to sit down now in my newly positioned sofa, play a bit of, I think, Warriors of Troy, right? Relax, enjoy myself with a cup of tea. But as always, thank you very much for taking the time to watch. It's much appreciated. Enjoy your Sunday, play your games, keep it retro. In a bit.
Retro Ghetto.
Lock into the retro ghetto. Come and have a look around the ghetto. We got Sonic and Staples settle. Lock into the retro ghetto.
Okay, so as promised, I am sat down, I'm chilling, I've got my cup of tea, I'm playing games. I wanted to show you guys a little bit of Warriors Legends of Troy. So the bit that I'm currently at, as you can see on the map, I'm heading to this yellow mark here. That's a weakness in the enemy's wall we're going to try and penetrate. These red bits are like additional objectives. I've reached that point in the game, which I often do, where I'm not doing additional stuff. I'm just sort of like playing the story. So we're going to head to the weakness in the wall up here. And, well, this way, sorry. And I'm going to show you generally how the game plays. Now, I love this game. I really enjoy it. I think I just love how simple it is. It's just pick up and play. It's not too much messing about or anything. And what you've got is your basic light attack, got a heavy attack, a shield attack, which is like it stuns the enemy, and there's also like a special move which we'll get to as and when I unlock it. So yeah, we need to take out these guys.
Hector, look! The wall is damaged. We can breach it here. The gods have rewritten our fate. Zeus smiles upon us. We have to keep the Greeks back before they breach this wall.
Right, so now you can see the top left hand corner's gone red. That means I've unlocked this move which stuns everybody like this. So now I can just go ham, start attacking everybody whilst their shields are down. Get out. Now one of the other things that I really enjoy about this game is you can pick up enemy weapons. So once you take an enemy out, you can pick up an enemy weapon. So I've just picked up the enemy sword, and you can then throw enemy weapons back at them. Let's try and see if we can pick one up. There we go. So now I've picked up an enemy sword, I can launch it at them, like so. As you can see, we're running low on health. This guy's trying to flee. We're not going to let him. We're not going to let him. Keep picking up enemy weapons, and I'm going to just keep throwing them at them so I can try and keep a bit of distance. Spears are great because spears have got a lot more reach, and also they can take out people with shields. If anything, spears are a bit overpowered really. As you can see, it's also good to throw the spears like this. Oh no. Oof. So there's just these last couple left up here. That's him gone. So now we want a spear, yeah, so we can get to these guys with the shields. Go through them like a knife through hot butter. And here we go. As you can see on the mini map, the enemy's approaching whilst I'm doing this. There we go. Just in time.
What's this?
So you see that where it said objective failed? All levels have secondary objectives. One of which was to kill 250 people on that level. You'd have to go around searching the whole level to kill people. I'm not doing any of that.
Champion Troy. Which of the gods are you? It is divine will you are fighting against.
So this is a
Prepared for this.
boss fight, I assume. No shit. Well, his health bar is doing a lot better than mine. So what tends to happen with most boss fights is they'll be alright to about halfway, and then they'll switch up and they'll start coming with much stronger attacks. So far, so good. This is actually looking pretty easy. Oh, well, no. Yeah, normally there's like a quick time thing. Ah! This is where I always suffer, right? Because I don't know my Xbox buttons as well as I know my PlayStation buttons. To me, it would always be triangle, circle, X, and square. And look how much his health bar's filled back up. A previous boss fight I did took me forever because I kept getting the quick time sequence wrong. Right. Where is it? I pressed it! Ah! So all you people that ask me why I don't do Twitch, now you know. Come on, you one-eyed son of a bitch. Right, that's it. Surely he's done, right? Yeah, come on. Green. Green! I pressed green! You've got to be kidding me. The game is brutal when it comes to the quick time events. If I did have one criticism of it, that would be it. Are you kidding me? Ah. I enjoyed that. I do often get requests to do like gameplay and join Twitch and all that. And guys, I don't have the time. I don't sleep. Never mind time to start doing things like Twitch. So yeah, let me know if you want to see more of this. I think it'd be fun to just do a bit of gameplay at the end of the vlogs on games that either I've picked up this week that I'm currently playing through, or games that I spoke about, games that are relevant to the vlog itself. Let me know if you watched this bit. Let me know if you want to see more of this. I don't know, use code Cyclops. Use the word Cyclops in the comments below to let me know that you've stuck around this long. But yeah, thanks again, guys. I'll see you Wednesday in a bit.